Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Ladies Who Impact. Today we have Sarah Akkawi, also known as artbysass. You can find her on Instagram and TikTok.
Yes.
She's a well-known graphic designer and illustrator who always does captivating visuals about Beirut. So Sarah, can you tell us a bit about your background
Yeah.
and how you became a
So
designer?
first of all, as we know, I'm Lebanese, Akid. I studied first of all in IC, and during my time at IC, I also did visual arts. And ever since I was a kid, I used to draw and paint. So it was like a passion I've had since a young age. And then I studied at AUB graphic design. It was a 4-year program, and during my first year, the situation in Lebanon was we had the
It
Thawra.
was 2019.
Yeah. So there was the Thawra, then Corona, the explosion. So during that time, I had a lot of inspiration to draw and about the situation. And that's when I started my page on Instagram.
Art by Sass.
Yeah.
And what are some of the challenges that you face on the daily as a designer?
Okay, so now, since 2019, it's been around 5 years. So a lot of the time, between work and university at the time and the situation in general, now since I'm working, it's a bit hard for me to balance giving time for my art and my work and balancing everything in general. And of course, sometimes I get a creative block of what I want to show. Some things are sensitive to show and not to show on the internet. Some things work and some things people like, and others you don't feel you get as much likes or
engagement.
Success. Yeah, and people don't share as much. So that sometimes can be demotivating, but it motivates me to
do better,
do nicer things and make people the whole point of my page is to give people hope. So the more I share and the more it reaches people, the happier I am.
And what do you usually do when you get a creative block?
I try to look for inspiration from other from sometimes from music. I try to use, for example, quotes from poems, from songs like Fairouz mostly, to make people because this is what I feel people relate to a lot, especially in using Arabic, because in our generation I feel Arabic is not as much used. Everyone's English. So I try to incorporate photography, text. Sometimes most of the times I use my illustrations to reach a wider audience.
Okay, that's interesting. And many people have bought and shared your art online, Live Love Beirut, Middle East Airlines.
Lebanon.
How does it feel when you see these pages sharing your artwork or all your friends sending you this on your DMs Sarah, look what they...
The first time, Sarah, it was such an amazing feeling.
Do you remember who it was?
The first account was Virgin Radio. It was a video I did about Beirut. I did this video at university. I had a photography course, and always in my projects at university I used to try to incorporate Lebanon, especially since I was living in the situation at the time. So when they posted, it was a video I did in my class, and it was so nice, and I was oh my god, so many people are gonna see it. And I was talking in the video and I was so shy, and it's the first time I'm using my own voice. But it's the best feeling when people relate and share. And they say, hey, it's such a nice feeling.
And how did it start? How did Art by Sass start?
It started in 2019. Before 2019, I used to just post, illustrations
on your personal account.
Yeah, and at school, I did visual art. So in IB program, we have 2 years where you prepare for 2 years different pieces, and then at the end of the 2 years you do an exhibition. So I started off with sharing my art that I did in school, and then in my first year of uni I started to share about the Thawra and the revolution and Corona and explosion, so people can relate and so people don't leave and so people come back, because everyone left at the time and I I couldn't leave.
Yeah, and I have a question. Like now we're talking about your digital art, but when it comes to like print, like how did you why did you start the print?
Okay, so first I used to like just publish everything just like as flat
on Instagram.
Yeah, on Instagram, and then I printed 6 posters, my favorite 6 posters, and I featured them at my friend's event. So he did like a party, and we wanted to like add the prints
That's so cool.
to make something cool out of the party,
like something different.
Yeah, so we had like music and art incorporated into one night. And then people started asking me about my art. And then I was like, you know what, let me try TikTok. So I went on TikTok and every day I revealed one of those 6 posters because we put them in frames and they all went viral.
No way.
And people, like famous people started to ask me, oh my God, where can I purchase this?
No way.
How can I order?
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was 100 amazing. And then I was like, Khalas, you know what? I'm going to do my own website and I'm going to start selling.
So you also have your own website?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's under renovation now. Yeah, so this is when I started selling. And like every time I like to change my prints, I add them on the website.
And you know what's really, you have different collections?
Yeah.
And what's really cool about this is that it started out as you expressing your feelings, like through art and design, and then look at where things are now. You know, like you're just doing it for your for your own sake. You're just designing.
In a way, it's like therapy, and it's my thoughts, and أنا عم برتاح when I'm illustrating.
You're expressing through the design.
And I'm trying to give this hope to people, to show people, even expats and أكيد even like non-Lebanese people about Lebanon.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And like we all obviously now know that Beirut is your muse. What from like Beirut, what draws you to like the city as like the main source of inspiration?
هلا I'm so attached to Lebanon. Like I adore Lebanon. يعني the food, the nature,
we all do.
The history, the music, everything. يعني هاي لحالها خلص إنه I'm obsessed with Lebanon. Everyone makes fun of me and how I can't leave Lebanon. ويعني even during the worst times I couldn't leave, and I feel like
it's home.
Yeah, and عن جد إنه when everyone left بالعكس I became even more attached to Lebanon. Okay, so like in my latest post, I used a quote from Gibran Khalil Gibran, and this quote was like written in the 1900s and it still applies today. So like
what does it say?
It was like, you have your Lebanon and I have mine, and it said like how there's the bad parts of Lebanon and there's the beauty and there's the problems, prejudice, everything. But at the end of the day, he sees Lebanon in a beautiful way, and you see it different, but he has his own.
Okay, that's so nice.
Yeah, so I like to use poets and famous artists,
Lebanese.
Yeah, أكيد Lebanese, to reach a wider audience and for people to relate as much as possible.
Okay, and like usually when you're like going to create a new artwork or a poster or a design or what have you, like how can you tell us the process, like from the idea to execution? Like what's your creative process like?
Okay, so it depends if it's like something I'm like a post I'm designing just to share, or like a client project. So when it's a post for me, it usually comes naturally, like depending on the situation, like if there's occasion, or like if there's a specific type of food I want to draw, or a specific location, or for example my postcard series, it shows different locations, so I would like
choose Lebanon,
different parts of or like different areas of one specific place, and like illustrated. For example, if it's something about food or music or like a famous person, it depends, like ما بعرف, it depends depending on what I have in mind. But like when it comes to a project, I go meet with the client, we have like our ideas written down, I prepare sketches, and we write down like keywords, and then later I move it digitally. Either like I draw it on my iPad, or I move it to like Illustrator and I bring it to life, and then later we print it and execute it.
And you can print it, it's like you can literally on any size or anything.
Exactly.
Like it could be a tote bag, it could be an A4, an A0.
It could be like an A2, it could be a wallpaper, it could be anything.
Okay. So that's
Yeah.
so cool. Like from this small like device,
Screen,
yeah,
yeah.
you're able to like.
Exactly.
That's so cool. And what do you feel like the role of visual storytelling is in connecting with like your audience and making an impact through
Yeah.
your art and your designs?
So, like I said, before, I use like different mediums. Like sometimes I just illustrate, I sketch. Sometimes I use photography, and I always try to use my own photography. So because people know these places,
Yeah.
people like maybe they live there or whatever. So I try to use my photography.
I feel it's more genuine as
Yeah,
well. Like the
and
art is
it's
more
so
authentic.
real. Yeah, exactly. And like it's like also new. Like it could be a picture I took yesterday, or it could be a picture I took maybe 5 years ago.
Okay.
You know, so people would have seen this place and can relate to it more. And as I said, also like you can. I use text a lot in my work. So I think text is a lot, like it's like a big part of making people relate to
Yeah, of course.
what I'm trying to say.
Of course.
And yeah, visually it's more text and image.
So basically, like you use colored text on
Yeah.
like photography
Yeah.
backgrounds.
Or like I do
Or an
illustration,
illustration,
and I put
exactly.
text.
So
And I
it's
like to
always
use a lot of
incorporating
color.
both.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
we can tell.
Yeah.
And like, so what advice would you give to like aspiring like illustrators or maybe students that are still studying design? Like, what kind of advice would you like to like share with them if they're watching?
Okay, so first of all, something that really, really, really helped me is when I was in university, I opened my art account. Whatever I used to do, even if I liked it or didn't like it, I would share it on my page.
Okay.
And that kind of was like my online portfolio.
Even your university projects?
Some of them, not all, but some of them. I used to share them, and I created an audience for me. People started to know me, know my work, and this really, really helped me. Like even when I used to just share my illustrations, at the end of the day, I'm also a graphic designer. People would come and like DM me, hey, can you do a logo for me?
No way.
Could you like?
So since you were like still at uni?
Exactly, like even it's been maybe 4 or 5 years. I do a lot of freelance, so this whole Insta page portrayed
Opened
my work and
opportunities.
opened so many doors. Yeah, and so many projects, collaborations, and
So you give them a piece of advice of launching an
yeah,
art
show
page.
your work and don't be afraid to
Go out
to
there.
share, even if it's something you don't really you're that convinced of. Just share it, and eventually you'll have your audience.
And as a designer, how do you always like continue to develop your skills? Like, or like, what are some practices or habits that you do that keep you inspired? And like, how do you derive your inspiration?
My biggest inspiration comes from exhibitions. So I love to like go to different exhibitions, even if it's not like
Design related.
Yeah, and it can be like, for example, furniture,
Yeah.
ما بعرف, anything really. Like all these different artists, even if they're maybe very traditional, there are just small things that just inspire you, even if it's like just the material they're using.
Yeah.
So
It could probably give you an idea to create something that has nothing to do with what you're seeing.
So this is like my top one advice, like always go and refresh and see different exhibitions. And like sometimes I just get inspired from my friends or my family, like things they say.
In what way? Like conversations and
conversations
that you have.
Also like I also do other kinds of art. So I did an exhibition last year where I used everyday products that, like, for example, coffee capsules, heat cigarettes.
The boxes.
Yeah, and like these are some things that we use every day. So
My favorite is the one of the cans that you gathered. So she gathered different cans and she framed them and you wrote on it.
These are not just cans; they're
these are
conversation
starters. I love it.
Yeah. So like, for example, that just I would be like with everyone, and then I'd be like looking at these things, and they're so pretty. And let me do something with them. And why throw them?
In a way, you're upcycling.
Exactly.
Which is really
we're
cool
making something nice out of them. were not polluting, and why not make art out of them?
Yeah.
So something as small as what people would call garbage inspired me to make real art out of
And how did you gather them? Like, I saw pictures of
it took so
like
much
so
time.
many.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, how like
It took so much time. I would just ask random people in my university
to gather them for you.
Everyone would just help me. وكل مرة إنه someone would call me Sarah, I have a bag for you. جرسة يعني بس إنه it was so nice. It took a lot of time to gather because I did big pieces.
But it's really interesting.
Yeah, and it's something different, and it's helping the environment.
Yeah,
and making something a nice outcome.
And do you also like if somebody wants to commission you or ask for a custom piece, like let's say someone just spoke to you and they have like a collection of coins, for example, and they spoke to you, they reached out and they asked you to produce the piece. You also like do that?
Yeah, I've done custom pieces. Like they would ask me to gather all the material and make it for them, depending on what they want. And come in, if you have something, you could give it to me and I can make a piece. Like I had someone who had like a full series of $2 bills, and I did him a piece. Yeah,
that's so cool.
They were like, what about?
Because they say that $2 bills are rare, no?
Yeah. So I did a piece for him out of the $2.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
And you have photos of them on your social?
Yeah, everything's on my page.
Okay, that's cool. I also want to ask you, Sarah, like, are there any upcoming like projects or pieces that you're excited about?
Yes.
That you could share, obviously.
The only thing I have a lot of collabs and new projects that are coming up. But the only thing I can like actually tell you guys is that I'm gonna be doing my exhibition in December.
Wow!
So I have a few pieces ready, but it's gonna be our part 2.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited, and I'm working on some other pieces to, inshallah, be able to do it in December.
And what about design projects?
Design projects, they're not as big as my exhibition, but many collabs. I'm trying to collab with a lot of Lebanese artists, photographers, and just to like grow more with the Lebanese community. And I'll always be doing my own prints, but غير هيك, I'm also collaborating with locals.
Okay, that's really nice. To also like boost or what's the word?
Like to support كمان.
بس in a way كمان إنه you're highlighting the value of what you do again through
going back to Lebanon always.
Yeah. Okay. What are your like future aspirations for your career, your future in design? Like, do you have any plan ahead?
Yeah. So I want to open my own company at some point.
Inshallah.
Like pure graphic design, art direction, because this is like what I studied. It's a main part of who I am. My illustrations and my art in general is who I am, and it is what I show a lot. But for me, it's a passion. It's something I do on the side. But like my main job, my main goal is to have my graphic design company. And of course, I will never stop my real art. My exhibitions, I'll always have this on the side, and I'll always, inshallah, every year, I'll do my own exhibition.
That's so exciting. Good luck.
Thank you.
I also, to wrap it up, I wanted to ask you, what's one key message that you would like our listeners to take away, like from your journey and your work?
Okay, so like, عن جد, never, خلاص, you have a doubt, who cares? Just do it. عن جد, أنا, so many people used to tell me, today, when I started my page and when I was in university, so many people would be like, خلاص, ما لها عازة, you're still in university, who cares وهيك, and people used to find it like
they underestimated it.
But after I graduated and like now I'm so ahead of like everyone that I studied with or whatever, they say يا الله يا ريت we opened the page, because it grew me an audience. I got so many projects from it. I learned so many things, how to talk to people. I was able to do my first exhibition while I was preparing for my first exhibition while I was doing my last year at university.
Wow.
So it made me stronger as a person. So عن جد do what you love, or عن جد you're gonna hate your life. So عن جد when you're passionate about something, just do it no matter what people say. إنه بالآخر you're gonna be successful.
That's so nice. I
Yeah.
love that. And how do you hope your work and journey will impact others, especially like women, to make their mark on the world, whether it was through design or whatever that they do?
You know, I just hope that my work and that gives hope to these people. You know, أكيد I hope people come back to Lebanon, and I hope, you know, the Lebanese women especially, they dare to do what they love. And Anna, so many people come and tell me, "Oh, you're a graphic designer. You know how to draw." I was like, "No, it's
my
not. It's
God.
not about drawing. It's about so much more. I can."
It's so funny. Like they think it's
Yeah.
just colors. It's
And
fun,
it's not
but
even
لأنه
drawing.
they don't see the behind the
Exactly.
scenes. It's always they
Exactly.
see the outcome. Like okay, cool logo. Okay, they just designed it.
and
لا,
It's
there's
so
much
much
thinking.
more than that.
Yeah.
عن جد, you know, it's actually very hard, and it's, you know, it's like you really need designers to be able to, you know, have a successful
Everything is designed
company
أصلاً,
or whatever.
if you think about it.
exactly. So, you know, عن جد, you know, do what you love and don't listen to anyone. Go for what you love, and that's the only way you'll succeed.
Thank you. Yay.
Yay!
It was so nice to have you.
Same here.
Amjad, I'm so happy that you were able to join us.
Me too.
And I hope I wish you all the best, and I hope you
Thank
keep
you.
reflecting Lebanon, and more people get to see it, whether it's their local it's a local audience or a foreign audience. I hope more people get to
Thank you
see your
so
work.
much.
Amjad,
Inshallah, everyone does what they love.
yes.